Now, our next player who comes in at number 7, which is surprising. This was another player that we had to kind of positionally decide on where does he fall. Number 7 is Jett Williams for the New York Mets. I think you and I are kind of in agreement. He probably ends up in the outfield, but he was a shortstop. He has second base ability. And I wanted us to put him and talk about him today at number 7 because I do think he fits the profile of the guys that we've been talking about really, really well. And I think the truth is a lot of these guys could be moved off second or potentially just be guys that are super utility. Jett Williams is not necessarily that profile, though. Super athletic, great speed skills that we've seen in the minor leagues, good contact. I would say he was probably McGonigle-esque profile before McGonigle with more speed. Did have an injury-riddled 2024, lost some of that helium. The model has him at a 111.8 WRC plus, 244 batting average, a 351 on base percentage, 406 slug, 16 home runs, 21 stolen bases. Doc, I think the model is a little underwhelming on him. What are your thoughts on Williams coming off such a missed season in 2024?
Man, it's a weird one. I mean, positionally, it's worth noting, by the way, earlier, Cole Young played one game in the Arizona Fall League at second base.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that one. And then here with Jett Williams, he came out doing 11 games at shortstop and 11 games to center field. So they're certainly open to both possibilities. And that, I remember hearing something. I remember hearing something at one point about him playing in outfield, and you don't see it. The AAA, he was just only playing shortstop for the 6 games. He was there before busting his hand up. By the way, McGonigle busted his hand up too. This little guy, Durbin busted his hand up last year. These smaller guys cannot afford to lose the power. It's honestly, it's pretty concerning. I'm not as concerned with the Durbin who steals tons of bases. I am concerned with Jett Williams. He seems to have a great eye, which is something it's hard to teach as well. So I think he's always going to have that going for him. Not sure. I mean, if you're playing him at shortstop and center field, those are really defensive. I have never seen him play defense, Jett Williams, but I know that if a team is putting you at the most important positions on the field, they trust your defense. So that defense, that eye will give him shots. He's still pretty young. And so, I'm definitely way down on him. He felt way down my ranks just because starting to question how much power we're going to see. He stole a bunch of bases at the Arizona Fall League, but he, again, was getting caught stealing 3 times, stole 5 bases. So that's like almost a 50-50. Not going to play in the big leagues kind of ratio. So we're going to find out, man. Does he have that stolen base ability? Does he have that power? Or is this just going to be a weird is he going to be a utility guy? He's got a cool name. He's got too cool of a name to be a utility guy, huh?
Yeah. Well, but the measurables are interesting, right? Like, is 5'8" something that you toss out in center
5'6".
field? 5'6", yeah, because he is out of the group, I think, around the shortest. And it's like you have Juan Soto on a $700 million contract. Are you really going to put a guy out there that measures out at what a second baseman is? And I think it'll be interesting. They have Ronnie Mauricio, right? Like, they have Francisco Lindor at shortstop. He's not going anywhere. So I think we can rule short out unless Frankie moves to third. But there's so many moving pieces with the Mets organization, much like there is with the Mariners, the Orioles, right? And I think it is hard to project where he plays. The measurables for me, though, make it hard to believe he's a center fielder.
Well, he had 0 home runs in 33 games last year before he broke his hand. So I'm way more concerned about that than anything else. Like that, we're talking about Durbin power. Like, Durbin showed way more power than that. Of course, the year before, 2023, in 121 games, he had 13 home runs, which is like cool. But again, like, this guy was being considered like, oh, he's got decent pop. It's like,
do you think for fantasy we're talking about like a Sal Frelick with more speed?
I'm just looking at his numbers. Like, so we're seeing here again. I got to hit on this. 2023 was his big breakout year, and people saw. I'm looking at it here, and I saw just now 45 stolen bases, 7 times caught. Now you have my attention. Dig deeper. 32 of those came from low A.
Yeah.
And they started going away. And so I just don't know. I'm just trying to jump on your point about the speed. How much is that going to play?
Yeah.
He might just be Sal Frelick, period. Which I'm selling Jett Williams if I can. I don't know how his stock is really playing these days for a trading piece. If you can't trade him and it's not a league where you want to cut him, you got to hold at this point. And then I would still try to sell upon his promotion just because.
Yeah, it looks like
think
he'll
that
have a full season at AAA this
I'd
year.
rather have McGonigle. I'd rather have Durbin by a lot.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. No, that's a good reference point. But yes, I think if you're an owner of Jett Williams, let him play out his 2025 at AAA. See if he can maybe have a stretch where he hits 3 or 4 home runs in a week or 2 weeks. Maybe get some stolen bases and then sell him, because I'm right on board with you. The measurables concern me. The lack of power concerns me. We know speed slows down, and it's already looking bad. But it's also hard because 2024 was a bit of a lost year for him, right? You talked about the hand and sapping power. It does. It shouldn't sap speed, but 7 stolen bases in the Arizona Fall League, I think you and I could probably steal a bag or 2 in the Arizona Fall League.
Yeah.
So it is hard to really gauge where his prospect value is after this season, but definitely down arrow on Williams.